In the long fight against Alzheimer's, progress can sometimes feel slow. But today, we're talking about a development that could genuinely change the game, a revolutionary new data set, now public, giving researchers an incredible new weapon in this fight. I mean, that question really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? For decades, Alzheimer's has been this shadow, a disease that's just so hard to see clearly until it's already taken hold. That's been the fundamental, frustrating challenge for researchers, for doctors, and frankly, for millions of families. All right, so let's dig into that first piece, the massive challenge of just diagnosing Alzheimer's disease. You know, for the longest time, getting a definitive diagnosis was a tough process. Doctors often had to wait for really clear symptoms to show up or rely on super expensive PET brain scans and even painful, invasive spinal taps. We desperately needed a better, earlier, and more accessible way to do it. And that, right there, is where the Bio-Hermes study comes into play. This wasn't just another research project. It was designed from the ground up to tackle that exact diagnostic problem head-on. So this number, 1,000, it's not just a statistic. It represents the people at the absolute core of this, 1,000 remarkable volunteers. These folks were more than just participants. They were really citizen scientists, pouring their time and energy into making this whole breakthrough a reality. Now, here's something that makes this study incredibly important. Its focus on diversity. Almost a quarter of the participants came from racial and ethnic communities that have historically been left out of this kind of research. And that is so critical. Because Alzheimer's doesn't affect everyone in the same way, and the tools we build to fight it have to work for everybody. So, this group of 1,000 volunteers, that's what scientists call a cohort. But here's the thing, it wasn't just any cohort. The Bio-Hermes group is the most extensively characterized in the entire history of Alzheimer's research. That means scientists have this just unbelievable wealth of detailed info on every single person in the study. Okay, so how did they get all this amazing data? Well, this is the really clever part. The study put new, innovative ideas like simple blood tests, digital cognitive tests, even retinal exams directly up against the old gold standards like those expensive PET scans. It was basically a head-to-head showdown to see if these simpler, cheaper methods could be just as accurate. And the amount of information they collected, it's just staggering. We're talking over 80,000 individual test results. That created this massive treasure trove of data. And honestly, that's where the real story begins. Which brings us to the real payoff here, the big news. That entire treasure trove of data, it's now public for everyone. So, on July 31st, 2025, the whole thing, the complete comprehensive dataset from the Bio-Hermes study, was released on a platform called the AD Workbench. And that means qualified researchers anywhere in the world can now get their hands on it. And listen to how John Dwyer, the president of the Global Alzheimer's Platform Foundation, put it. He said, "We're proud to share that the Bio-Hermes dataset is now publicly available, a major step forward for Alzheimer's research. A major step forward." You can just feel the weight of that statement. And that idea of progress was echoed by Niranjan Bose from the 80 Data Initiative, who said, "Sharing biomarker data for Alzheimer's disease is critical to accelerate progress. When we work together, we can radically speed up the pace of new discoveries." See? It's all about that collaboration, about speeding things up by working together on a global scale. Okay, so we've got all this data. It's public. Researchers are excited. But what does it all mean? Why does this really, truly matter for the future? Well, it really boils down to three huge things. First, it's about accelerating diagnosis, powering those new, simpler blood and digital tests. Second, it improves research, flat out, by giving scientists everywhere this incredibly powerful new tool. And third, it helps advance treatments, paving the way for therapies that are more targeted and hopefully potential cures. And look, this isn't just some far-off theoretical promise. The impact is happening right now. I mean, this data has already been used to support an FDA application for a new blood-based test. That's huge. It's sparking new research projects all over the world as we speak. The best way to think about this data set is like finally getting a super detailed map for a territory that was, for decades, completely uncharted. For years, researchers were kind of navigating in the dark, doing their best with what they had. Now, they have a guide.
So that's where we are now. The data provides the map. The big question is, with the world's best researchers all looking at it together, how fast can they finally reach the destination? How fast can we get to a world without Alzheimer's?